already done my eyebrows and I've already put primer onto my eyelids. What I use is just the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk. I'm going to be using these shadow shields to put it on the outer edge of my eyes, so then that way it'll help me create like a really sharp look. I've already peeled the back piece of this, and this top part is pretty sticky. So I'm just going to go ahead and align that onto my eyes. And how these work is there's a back part here where you can actually bend it and you can peel it off just like that. For this look, I'm going to be using my NYX Ultimate Eyeshadow Palette, and I'm going to be starting off with this orangey tone right here. That's going to be my transition color. I'm just going to go ahead and apply that right above my crease line. And while you're building this, you just want to add a little bit of color at a time, and then you can intensify everything else as you go. So I'm going to be doing that on both sides of my eyes. Just make sure that you're blending the colors higher as you go. And now I'm going to go in with this burgundy color, and with this shade I'm going to focus it more on the outer V of my eyes. Just add a little bit of color on the outside and then lightly blend it in towards the other orange tone. Once you're done adding the burgundy tones, just go ahead and go back with your blending brush and just blend both of the colors together. Okay, so now with the brown eyeshadow, I'm going to be focusing that on the outer V of my eyes. You want to first start off by packing the color onto your eyelid, and then as you're going upwards, you can go ahead and blend the color. Once you've added the brown, just go back in with your orangey tone and blend it in together as well. And you also want to go back with your burgundy eyeshadow color and blend it in between the two as well. You want to just blend it upwards, then that way you have a really nice seamless look. Going in with this nude eyeshadow shade right here, you're going to go ahead and take that color and blend out the harsh edges of your eyeshadow. Okay, so before applying any eyeshadow onto my eyelid, I'm going to be applying some concealer on there first, and then that way I have a really nice base. The flat brush, I'm just going to carve out a crease line. While I'm doing this, I'm only going to go halfway through because I still want the outer part of my eyes to be dark. So now that I have my crease created, I'm going to go ahead and apply this champagne type of color. I'm just going to go ahead and apply that right onto my eyelid. So with my Fix Plus, I'm going to be spraying that onto the brush. The next thing that I'm going to be applying onto my eyelid is this Modus Cosmetics glitter, and this one is called Morganite. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit with my flat brush and applying it on top of what I've already had. So now that I'm done with my eyeshadow, I'm going to be applying eyeliner. The one that I'm going to be using today is this Revlon Color Stay Liquid Liner. And I'm just going to leave these shadow shields on because that's going to help you create a really nice sharp eyeliner. The lashes that I'm wearing right now is from the Makeup Shack, and the one that I have on is called Crown Pleaser. I've already gone ahead and applied that onto my eyes. The next thing that I'm going to be doing is adding a white liner onto my waterline. This is the pencil liner from NYX Cosmetics, and this is not actually like white. It comes off kind of like a pinkish color. I love to apply this onto my waterline because it kind of helps brighten your eyes up a little bit more. Now that I have that on, I'm going to just take the burgundy color from my NYX palette and add a little bit onto the bottom lash line. And then with the darker brown color, I'm also going to go ahead and do the same thing. Once I have that done, I'm just going to go ahead and add some mascara onto my bottom lash line. And the mascara that I'm using right now is from L'Oreal, and this is their Voluminous Lash Paradise. now that I have my eye makeup all done, I'm going to be applying my hydrating lotion. During the winter, my skin, or just anytime it's cold, my skin tends to get really dry, especially in my nose area. If you're like me, you want to use a really hydrating lotion. So what I like to use is my lotion from Skin Fix, and this is one of their best lotions that I've used before. What I like to do is just pump a little bit onto my hand like this and apply it all over my face. Next, I'm going to be using my Milani primer, and I really like this face primer because it's really hydrating for your skin, and also it's really pore minimizing. Like I said, I have really dry skin, so with the hydrating lotion and a hydrating primer, that'll be perfect for your skin. I'm just going to do the same thing and apply this all over my face as well. So I'm just going to squeeze out a little bit onto my hand and just apply that all over my face. And since it is the holiday, of course, we all want to have really nice glowing skin. So I'm going to be using the DERMA.E Radiant Glow Face Oil. So with this, you only want to use about 2 to 3 drops. Just rub it against your fingers and just apply that onto your face. The foundation that I'm going to be using is from LA Girl Cosmetics. This one is a really nice full coverage foundation, and this shade is natural. So I'm just going to put it onto my sponge and apply that all over my face. And I like to apply foundation in sections. So I would just start off with one side of my cheek and work my way all the way around. So if you can tell the difference, like on this side with the foundation, it covers it really good compared to my right side of my face where I don't have foundation. You can see pretty much everything. This is why I love full coverage foundations, especially for the holidays. You want to make sure you're looking flawless. I'm just going to go ahead and apply product onto the right side of my face as well. And you also want to make sure that you're blending the foundation down your neck, so then that way everything is seamless and everything's just very well blended together. Now that I'm going to be concealing and sculpting out my face, I'm going to be using these total coverage concealers and color correctors from BH Cosmetics. I'm going to be using the number 113, which is a lighter shade here, to kind of like brighten up my eyes. And then to contour my face, I will be using this darker tone, and this one is shade number 119. I really like this concealer. It's thick, it gives you a really nice coverage, but it's really easy to work with. I'm just gonna squeeze out a little bit like that and apply it to my under eyes. And then if the blender cannot get into the inner corners of my eyes, I usually would just take a brush and blend that out. So then that way you don't have like a harsh line just like hanging out there. Just blend out the inner corners like that. And also down the bridge of my nose. So now with this darker tone, I'm just going to be applying that onto the hollows of my cheeks and all the way around my head. So then that way it'll give my face a little bit more dimension. And I'll just go in with my sponge and blend everything out as well. While I'm blending the areas in my forehead, I am also just pressing it straight into my hairline. So then that way everything blends in evenly and the color's just not sitting there on my forehead or anything like that. I bought this mineralized skin finish powder from MAC, and it was a little bit too yellow for my skin. So what I normally like to do is I use this to kind of sculpt out my face a little bit more. Just taking my Morphe E50 brush and picking up a little bit of this and just adding some color onto the sides of my cheeks. Now with my BH Cosmetics contour palette, I'm going to be using this light brown shade right over here at the corner and just applying that onto the hollows of my cheeks. And these colors from BH Cosmetics are super pigmented, so you want to make sure that you are just dabbing it once. And then once I have it onto my brush, I'm just going to lightly brush it onto my skin. As you guys can tell, there's a little bit of color on the hollows of my cheeks already, so I'm just going to also bring this color upwards into my forehead and my hairline as well. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take like a napkin and just wipe the excess product off, because I don't want to blend everything in without wiping off the brush, because like I said, it's really pigmented. So you want to just make sure that you're using as little product as possible, and you can kind of just blend everything upwards, so then that way you can diffuse the color a little bit more. And just do the same thing with your forehead as well. So now that I am done contouring my face, I'm just gonna bake a little bit on the side of my cheeks and just add a little bit of powder onto my under eyes. The one that I'm going to be using today is the NYC Smooth Skin Loose Face Powder, and it looks like this. Just add a little bit of product here. And just apply it down the side of my face, just like this. And I'm just going to apply a little bit onto my under eyes. And I'm not going to leave this on for too long because, like I said, I have really dry skin. I'm just going to let it sit there for a little bit. It's going to take a big powder brush and just brush everything out. With my under eyes, I'm going to use a smaller brush, and this is the Morphe E48 brush. Just going to brush it out under my eyes here. And then I'm going to go into my contour palette. I'm going to pick up this color right here and use it to highlight my under eyes. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit like that onto my brush and just apply it onto my under eyes. I like doing this technique because it helps brighten up my eyes a little bit more. Because my skin is really dry this time of year, I try not to add like too much powder, such as contouring on the side of my nose, because you can definitely tell. So what I normally do to make my nose appear a little bit higher, instead of contouring, what I do is I do the opposite. So I would highlight my nose with a concealer to make my nose bridge seem a little bit taller. What I normally use is the Girl Cosmetics Pro Conceal, and this one is their yellow corrector. So I would just apply it down the bridge of my nose and then just kind of blend it out with my sponge. So I would just press it onto my nose. Just gonna take my ring fingers and blend out the edges. So I would normally just press it into my skin like this. Now my nose appears a little bit taller than how it was before. So in order to just keep that in place, I'm just gonna take this same shade here on my BH Cosmetics palette, and with a brush just apply this powder on top. And I'm just going to apply a little bit on my forehead as well, just to brighten up my forehead a little bit more here. With the same brush and my MAC powder from earlier, I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of color to my chin, so then that way it's not too white from my loose powder that I applied earlier. So just going to add some color here. Now with my BH Cosmetics blush palette, I'm going to be using this color right over here. Just applying that to the apples of my cheeks. Okay, so now that we have our face contoured, blushes on and everything, we want to make sure that all of the high points of our face is poppin'. So my current favorite product that I love to use right now is the Gerard Cosmetics BB Plus Illumination Cream. And I'm also going to be using the powder also. This is like the best thing ever. What I'm going to do is just squeeze out a little bit onto my finger and then applying it onto my cheekbone. So you kind of just want to apply a little bit at a time. I'm just going to squeeze a small little pump and just applying it onto my cheekbone. As you put it onto your skin, just kind of make sure that you're kind of blending out the edges as you go. So then that way when you apply the powder on top, it's not like patchy or anything like that. I love this product so much because as you guys can tell right now, I only have the cream on and it really does a good job to give you like a glow already. So I'm just going to go in and grab some more product and apply it a little bit higher. Now that I'm done with that, I'm going to go in with the same color, and this is the one called Grace and it's in the powder form. Just get a little bit of that and apply it right on top. And there you go. It glows so much. Okay, so before I move on to doing my lips, I want to add one last thing to my eyes. I love to add like a highlight on the inner corners of my eyes to just kind of make my eyes pop a little bit more. So I'm going to be taking my white jumbo pencil in Milk from NYX. I'm just going to apply a little bit to the inner corners and just kind of diffuse it and blend it out a little. And then I'm going to do so on the other side of my eyes as well. Now I'm going to wipe off any excess product and just blend the white out. Then going in with the same shadow that I used for my highlight, I'm just going to apply that to the inner corners as well. So what I'm going to be using on my lips is this lip cream, and this is from NYX Cosmetics. This one is in the shade Madrid. I'm just going to go ahead and apply that onto my lips.